Well, good afternoon or good morning, good evening to everybody. Welcome again to another iMoot session. And it is my great pleasure to introduce the next speaker. Priya is a colleague of mine at Pukunui Technology. She's a developer, and I hardly ever get to actually meet with Priya because she's over in Perth and I'm over here in Sydney. But she's a great teammate, and this is going to be a fantastic presentation. So thank you very much, Priya.
Thank you so much, Scott. Good afternoon, all. It's a lovely afternoon here, and I'm extremely delighted to be presenting 2017. The topic I have chosen for today's presentation is how to create a scheduled task in Moodle. So, overview about this presentation. This presentation will give you an idea about developing a custom scheduled task in Moodle. I'm going to explain this with a sample plugin which I have created, and I have provided the code snippets as well. References, all the reference links are provided at the end of the presentation. So, scheduled task. A task with a unit of work that run on a regular schedule. So in Moodle, the scheduled task is a new feature from 2.7, and it allows administrators to schedule the run, which is like basically you can override the run scheduling time of the cron. And a point to note here is the cron script still need to run. Users will still need to run the cron script. Any task will run only as long as the cron is in run. Scheduled tasks are automatically run by cron script, but specific tasks which run on each cron iteration are determined by scheduled task. To get the benefit from scheduling the task, it is recommended to run the cron once per every minute. What are the benefits of scheduled task? First one is better user experiences. Gives the feedback immediately. User will know the last run time, next schedule for the task to run, task total runtime, and also the failures. The second one will be preventing browser timeouts, especially with the standard cron. When the unit of work is performed on a larger database, the chance of browser timeouts are higher. So this is prevented in the scheduled task. The third one is the most important one, the failed tasks are retired. So which gives you high efficiency. A task is not interrupted by another task's failure. Apart from this, there is also another benefit which allows multiple tasks to run parallelly. How to schedule the task? This is for administrators. To get to the task scheduling screen, you need to navigate through administration, server, and schedule task, which will take you to a screen like this, where you will be able to see the list of all the tasks available in your Moodle site. Clicking on the edit icon here will take you to the task editing screen, which is something like this. The first two fields, last run and next run of the task, is not editable. The other fields like minute, hour, month, day, day of week can be edited. So how do we format these scheduled task fields? The format is very much similar to the Unix cron format, and the first one is minute, which is the field here. And these are the sample values that goes into that field. For example, for the minute field, asterisk represents every minute, which means you're asking your scheduled task to run every minute. Asterisk /10 means every 10 minutes. And 3 to 7 indicates every minute between 3 and 7 minutes. 2, 6, 9, which means 2, 6, and 9 past the hour. And R is a random value between 0 and 15 is chosen at the task installation time, and which is very similar to hour as well. For hour field as well, the values are very similar to the minute field. And the other fields are day. Asterisk represents every day. Asterisk /4 means every 4th month. 1 represents first of every month, and 2, 7 means second and 7th day of every month. And day of week is asterisk represents every day. 0 means every Sunday, and 6 every Saturday, and 1 and 5 every Monday and Friday. And for month, it's again similar to the day, every month, every second month, and every. This link here will give you a detailed description of all the formattings for scheduling the task. You can make a note of this link here and it will be of great use. The next thing we are going to discuss is about the fail delay. So that we have gone through these fields now. So this is the last second column here, fail delay. So this is the time in seconds the cron will delay running the task. Number of seconds to wait before reattempting a failed task. Any task can sometime fail. This is handled by catching the exception thrown from the task. This task will be retired after 1 minute. And the number of seconds the task is going to be delayed for the next run is displayed here. This is highly used when you're debugging the task. So, talking about debugging, I think if you're a developer, you should have used the standard crons, and you would have come across using the standard crons manually invoking them from the URL and also from the command line. Likewise, the scheduled task runtime can also be manually invoked. First step is to execute the following command: php schedule underscore task.php-list. This will return the list of scheduled tasks. To return a specific task, to run a specific task from the list, you choose your task, say mod underscore forum slash task slash cron underscore task. To execute this particular task, this will be the syntax like php schedule underscore task.php-execute is equal to the task name, whatever you have chosen from the list. And you can notice that you have got double slashes here and it's not here. These extra slashes are used to escape the slashes, so you will have to use double slashes. Custom schedule task. The sample custom schedule task for today is course completion notification, and the requirements for this sample plugin today is to create and schedule a task which sends course completion notification emails to the administrator whenever a course completion activity is done. So it comes under the component local underscore cc notification. CC notification is the name of the task, and I'm going to create it under local directory of Moodle. So that's why it's called local underscore cc notification. So this is the sample directory structure of your task. CC notification is the task name, and it has a directory called classes and has a subdirectory called task. This is where your actual coding to invoke the task will be going inside this folder called task. And you have other standard Moodle directories called language, db, and all, and also the files version.php, settings.php are all included in this plugin. Index.php, this is the main landing page for the script. No actual functionality is performed here. If in case someone's trying to access the task file from the browser, this page will be redirect to the home page. That's the main purpose of this file. And this is the regular settings.php file, which is used in any of your Moodle plugins. And I have used this for this particular file for this task because, like I told you before, this plugin I'm explaining today is to send emails. So I have created a text settings page with a text box which will hold the email address which receives the emails from the Moodle system. So that's the main use of this settings page. It's purely an optional PHP file to use. Since this task folder is created under local directory like I told you before, the settings page can be accessed via site administration, plugin, local plugins, and you can see when you go to site administration, plugin, local plugins, you will see your task name there, and if you click on that link, it will take you to the settings page where you can enter your email address, and that email address will be receiving the emails from this task. The next file should be version.php file. This is again a standard and mandatory PHP file which is used for any plugin, which provides you the details about plugin component, plugin version. So the next file is completion email.php. So this file goes under the directory classes/task. This file should be mandatorily put under the classes/task directory because for the auto-loading mechanism to pick up this file, only when the auto-loading mechanism picks up this file, your scheduled task will be invoked. Now let me go through the lines in this code snippet here. First thing is nothing but namespacing your task, and next is you're basically subclassing your class from the standard core scheduled task. So we are actually extending your class from the core/task/schedule_task to execute the actual function which performs the task. I have called a function here. So whenever this task is executed, this function will be called local_cc notification_completion email is called. The description of the function is defined in local lib.php, and that's why I have included the file here. If you're not using local lib.php, this line is completely optional. So the next file we are going to see is tasks.php file, which goes under db directory. This is again another mandatory file to execute the scheduled task. Any class subclassed from core task scheduled task class needs an entry in db/task.php file. So any class which is completion email, which is subclassed from this standard class, needs an entry in this file task.php. The fields required are class name, which is a fully namespace class name. You can see local_cc notification task, which is a namespace from here, and the actual class name completion email. This goes under the class name field here. The next field is blocking. This is an important field. You have to be really careful when you set this field up. The default value will be 0. If you have to set it to 1, which means no other task will run at the same time as this task. Do not set this one to 1 unless you really need it. So the default one is 0. The other fields are minute, hour, day of week, and month. These define the default schedule for running this task. These fields can be overwritten, which I showed you earlier in my previous slide. When you go to site administration server schedule task screen, the administrator will have the option to override these fields like minute, hour, day of the week, and month. Once you have created all these files, increase the version number in your version.php and install the new task. You can now see the custom count created in the list of scheduled tasks. I'll show you that. Sorry, before I show you that, this link here is for the developers, and it will give you a detailed description on how to create a scheduled task and the fields required to do that. These are the other files, local lib.php, the function which I showed you earlier, local_cc notification_completion email, which actually does the actual functionality of the task, is defined in local lib.php, and access.php to define the capabilities, and language strings are defined in your language directory. And this is when you install, when you increase the version number and install your plugin, this is where you see your task in the schedule task list screen, see course completion notification. Administrators can click on the edit icon, and if they want to override this timings here, they can click on the edit icon and they can override the timings. Since this is not a standard Moodle task, you can see no here. You can see for other tasks it's yes, and it's no here because this is not a default one. This is a custom made one. That's why it's a no here. And regarding the backend side, that means the database tables involved, the only table involved is task underscore schedule, and this is the structure of the table here. This shows the schedule task and the other attributes of the task. The last runtime and next runtime, like I showed you before in the editing screen, it cannot be edited. I'll show you that once again. These two fields here, last run and next run, these can not be edited from an administrative perspective. But if you really want to edit it, which is not advisable, but if you have to, there may be circumstances where you have to test your custom developed schedule task in your local server. In that case, going and editing the database table is the only way to edit that. So the last runtime and the next runtime can be edited from this table here. This is only for the developers to do. And all the resources which I have referred, I have provided the links here, which will help you in creating a custom-made schedule task. Yep, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening to me. If you have any questions, just go ahead.
So let's open it up to the floor for questions. If you have a microphone, you can ask a question on the microphone, or if you want, you can ask in the chat box. Well, it looks Priya. It looks like nobody has any questions. Interesting stuff, though. This I always like to take a look at the dev stuff. So this is really good.
Yes, I can. I will create a zip file of this code, and I'll put it in maybe in a Git repository, and I can send you the links to download it.
Well, that sounds great. Looks like a lot of people are interested in that, so that'd be fantastic to share that Git repository.
Yes, I'll do it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, Priya, I'm going to take this opportunity to say thank you very much for this presentation. This is great stuff. I love seeing the dev side. I do so much work on the other side of it, so it's great to get into some of this code here. Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much for presenting today, and I hope everybody sticks around and visits other presentations today and has a good iMoot.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's my pleasure, and I had a great time too. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you.